Hour for short. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
You know what day today is? Today
Yes.
is the day that somebody gets rich. You know why? It's not the mega bucks day. Today is the day that Popeye gets rich. You know why?
Why is that?
Because Wimpy's gonna pay him back on for all those hamburgers. Today is Tuesday. I would gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. And I heard it over and over my whole life. It was like, oh, she's kind of funny at the time, but I think did Wimpy ever pay? Did Wimpy ever pay? I don't know if he
I don't
paid to
think
do
so.
that.
I don't
Yeah.
think he paid in the movie or anything.
Well, just in case you didn't, here you go. Here's the people who buy people lunches. Here's the people who buy others lunches, such as we do. So there we go, right?
It's also the anniversary of Mount St. Helens erupting May 18th, 1980. It erupted, so 41 years ago.
So where were you when it all came through?
I was in Tacoma, actually, and heard about it on the news.
On news. What were you doing in Tacoma?
I was visiting a friend. We were some bunch of my college buddies went to Tacoma to meet with a guy that was living there. So we're
It was a Sunday, was it not?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because on the 16th, it was a Friday. And on 16th, I remember being at my grade school and it blew a little bit, you know. It released some steam on Friday, I mean.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in the schoolyard, looking through the fences, and people are staring, just going, "Oh my gosh, look at the mountain from here!" You know, we had a pretty good view back in the day, and then all of a sudden, pretty good view with the mountaintop on it, but then it blew its stop.
Was that whoa, bless you. Was that Olympic Elementary?
Yeah. I went to Olympic Elementary. Yep, absolutely. And we sitting on the playground just watching it. We were all freaked out. And I think we got to go home actually maybe early on Friday, right, because of it. But so there was some type of eruption on 2 days prior, saying
yeah. On Sunday it was pretty early in the morning, and two of my friends headed back to Longview, and a guy I was with, we had a test at Central on Monday, so we rushed back. I had to go through closed roads, we had to go through Blewett Pass. We had to move obstacles that the authorities put up so we could get through, and we got there and found out all classes were canceled for a week. So then we went back to Longview.
Yeah, speaking of Longview, by the way, folks, we are from here, from there, we're all from everywhere, actually, but Cowlitz County in particular. We are sitting in from Longview and Kelso. I am from the Plan City, the L Town, and Brian is from the K City, the K Town, which is I was a Plan City and he was Little Chicago.
Yeah,
correctly.
That was you guys. Not a lot of planning going on Kelso, I guess, but it was a wild city at the time.
Yes, I do believe so. They had I think there was 17 brothels over there one time. At one time, all at once.
There's only 11 now, so it's toned
I know, it's just horrible because the 6 that went away. It's like I don't know where they're at, but if somebody wants to let us know, that'd be great. No, just kidding. Might as well stop on by and say,
they're probably doing it all online now.
Probably, and that's you have to have a microprocessor in order to do it online. So my processor is not a micro.
Well, it was pretty cool back in the day. The president, Jimmy Carter, came to town and he flew in a helicopter and all that to view the destruction.
Yeah, the destruction was phenomenal. It was just ridiculously terrible at the time. I mean, I know that I think 50 people died, maybe
57 is what I heard.
Yeah, and then not Silver Lake, but Spirit Lake, not Spirit Lake.
Yeah, Spirit Lake was gone for a while.
Yeah,
that was on the news. Spirit Lake is no more.
Isn't that weird? Just say a whole giant lake got sucked up inside of a canyon somewhere.
Yeah, it got covered with ash and mud, and they said Harry Truman was 200 feet underground after that.
Yeah, that's God bless him, Harry Truman.
Yeah, he went down the mountain, man. He was pretty wild. He was on the news a lot talking about he's not leaving.
I remember the movie 1980, or is it called Mount St. Helens? I can't remember. Maybe it's called St. Helens. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
something
But
like that.
it was not a very good movie, but I
No.
think Art Carney did it possibly.
Yeah, Art Carney was Harry Truman.
He
I mean,
wasn't. Yeah. Okay, so I'm at a very young age for me, so I do remember that though. I'll have to look into that so we can watch it again. Mm. Actually, speaking of old movies, I watched an old movie this morning because I got up early and I watched The Hustler.
oh wow.
That's actually a great movie. It really is. It's my friend Luke. It's his favorite movie of all time, and it's been. I probably watched it when I was 10 years old, and then I've watched Color of Money multiple,
Yeah.
since then. But it's just because it's with a Tom Cruise versus a Paul Newman. Actually, Paul Newman's in the first one too, but
Yeah.
and Jackie Gleason as Minnesota Fats.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I've been watching some clips about the movie, so I'll have to maybe check it out again. So you liked it?
Oh, I love it. It was a good movie. Yeah, yeah. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's just like everything else, it's just gambling and action and bet. I mean, this is a sad story about somebody overcoming an obstacle, but somebody else, the love interest dies along the way.
Yeah.
It's
It
just
was
like
kind of a rough movie. It was a little heartbreaking at times.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Back in the they had the anti-hero with Paul Newman.
right.
Anti-hero was starting to happen.
Yeah. I watched it. I made my daughter watch a movie last night that I didn't make her. We watched a movie together last night. But movie we watched was The Toy.
Oh yeah, Richard
And
Pryor.
oh my gosh. I'm like, oh, this was G rated, I think, when I was a kid, or PG rated, which is kind of crazy. You think that was G rated or PG rated, but it's been a long time. And the first scene, I think it's the first scene or second scene, but a van pulls up and it's the Clan Watch.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's 1980, probably two. And the van pulls up called the Clan Watch, and it's actually Richard Pryor's girlfriend. She's an attorney, trying to, all these civic lawsuits and stuff because there's so much racism down the South.
Wow.
And so she had a van, and so the Clan Watch, which is pretty funny. And then there's a lot of rebel flags and
Really?
yeah, actually, and the sexism in it is just phenomenal. It's like, wow. It's like, oh my gosh, I did not realize as a kid, I didn't think there was that much kind of I mean, Jackie Gleason, his wife in the movie, is gorgeous, big blonde, busted, have everything hanging out in movies. I mean, it's just constantly,
Yeah.
the whole thing is like that. It's kind of funny. But and there's all these, the white maids trying to have a fornication with Richard Pryor because he's the
Oh
toy.
wow.
Yeah. It's funny. It's so racist. It's just crazy, but it's funny. I mean, now I'm like, Mary was like, oh my gosh, Dad. I'm like going, yeah, I didn't realize it was so overly racist and sexist and so forth. But I mean, it was the time. That's the time of life we had.
Yeah.
But I was shocked. The Clan Watch when the freaking band pulled up. Like, wow, like, geez. And I love the story behind the movie called the Toy. Which is basically, if you're a nice kid or rich, you can pretty much have any colored person you want. I'm kidding. It's horrible. That's what he's trying to say in the show. He comes into the store and says, you have anything you want in the toy store. And he says, I want that. And they're going, oh, you want that machine? No, I want that. Oh, you want that doll? No, I want that black man right there.
Wow. Is that what
Yeah,
he says?
it's crazy. I'm like, what? Holy
Wow.
shit. But, Richard Pryor, it's his show actually. I mean,
Yeah.
so he's just showing the racism in there and
Yeah.
how it was. And I mean, I miss that guy. He was absolutely an addition to the comedic world, I tell you.
Oh yeah.
But he had no problem showing how racist things were in the real world.
Yeah, and everybody still liked him. He was liked by all.
Absolutely.
Kind of beloved guy. Well, I saw an old episode of him on Johnny Carson from '89, and they brought his daughter on, who was starting out, Rain Pryor, and she was pretty funny.
Really?
Yeah, she's still doing comedy.
I'll have to check her out. I don't know if I've seen her.
She toured with our buddy Skippy from Family Ties. They went out a little bit.
Oh, I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Rain is her name?
Rain Pryor. Yeah, she was on Head of the Class for a while.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed though with Richard Pryor, with the toy was post his accident, I think, because you can see the scars on his neck right here.
Yeah, because I think the accident was in like 1980. So he
Mm-hmm.
did a lot after the accident.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got then he got Parkinson's or something. He started having real health problems.
Yeah, I felt you see those burns, kind of hidden burns a little bit, but boy, that must have been very, very, very traumatic,
Oh yeah, he came out and joked about it though on Johnny Carson. He was pretty tight with Johnny. He was on a lot.
Yeah, well,
Johnny loved him.
Johnny was his idol, I think, a little bit. So
a little bit, and Johnny just thought he was the greatest. So it was cool. He was on 3 or 4 times a year or something like that.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
Richard Pryor's idol though was Jerry Lewis. We saw that.
Oh yeah,
that was his true idol as far as comedy.
Because he was on there and he was acting like him. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can watch some people out there, if you can watch that clip of Richard Pryor and Jerry Lewis on a show where Richard does a tribute to Jerry and he's really nervous about meeting him, and it's pretty cool. It's Merv Griffin, who seems oblivious to everything.
Merv Griffin, that's what it was.
Yeah, they're like, Merv seemed oblivious to what was going on. He's going, who is your idol? And everybody's like, duh, he just did a tribute to Jerry. Merv's like, oh,
as he
Jerry?
Falls down. Yeah. As he falls down like Jerry, he
did this whole.
It was the exact same skit as Jerry. Yeah.
The band was playing him in, and he was doing all these wild moves like Jerry used to do, and it was good.
What I loved about him was he'd do this stuff with Gene Wilder. Oh my god!
Oh yeah,
they were a phenomenal team. That was like Bustin' Loose, Stir Crazy.
Bustin' Loose,
that wasn't
Wilder wasn't in that.
No, I was thinking Stir Crazy. I said
Stir Crazy and
Stir Crazy
Silver Streak.
Silver Streak and let's see here. It's
Hear No Evil.
Hear No Evil. Hear No Evil. See No Evil. Yep,
that was in '89. That was in '89. I went to my brother's last week and watched an episode of Carson with Pryor, and they were talking about that movie, Hear No Evil, See No Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild one, kind of a comeback for those two.
Yeah, that was good. Well, they're both great. Yeah, I think that he got Parkinson's, and I think Gene Wilder got Parkinson's too, possibly.
I don't know what he got. But you mentioned Bustin' Loose. That was done in 1980, I think, and that was done a lot of it over at Ellensburg. That was a big deal when I was at Central. They were like, "Wow, Richard Pryor's going to be in the area shooting movie."
Yeah, I think that was pretty racist movie too.
Yeah, didn't it have the Klan too, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it had some stuff in it. Yeah.
And Blazing Saddles, he wrote that, and that with Mel Brooks, and that had a Klan type of feel too. So
really, he wrote that Silver Streak.
Yeah, no, he wrote Blazing Saddles. And that was supposed to be him in the movie, but he had drug problems, and so they couldn't get him insurance to be in the movie Blazing Saddles.
Oh, too bad.
Well, it's his own fault. He admitted it. He thought he could get away with it.
Yeah, of course. When you're that big at the moment. I mean,
shot his car one time, shot the engine.
Yeah, he shot with a shotgun or the
something like
pistol or
that.
something.
Kept shooting the car, and the cops came.
I remember that's his episode of his comedian thing. Because the cop showed up and I was inside the house, my hands up or whatever he says.
Yeah,
Like I gave up automatically because they've got guns too. If they
yeah.
don't shoot cars, they shoot knee cars.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
that.
that happened. Horrible.
The whole
And like I said,
crowd gasped. The whole crowd gasped at that. It's a big concert video
yeah,
on YouTube.
they
People
don't shoot
cringe.
cars.
Yeah, people
Huh?
still watching it now would cringe during that
Yeah.
moment. Oh, he went there.
Yeah.
But he could do anything he wanted. He was
He
well
did. He was on
liked.
top of the world, dude. He was, and he wasn't. Yeah. By the way, I don't ever say the words. By the way, folks. And
No,
so the N word is I don't. I'm not racist, and that's horrible. I would never do that. But
but he
I will
can.
tell
He
you that
was,
watching Richard Pryor is so funny. It's like you want to, you tend to emulate things you hear,
yeah.
and that's one of the saddest things about the racial problems that we have. Like kids, you hear the music all the time. A lot of our famous artists, our favorite artists, will say that stuff, and so kids pick it up, they'll say it, and then you're going, "What the hell did I say?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that can be
Some kids around here will say, "Well, my friend,
that will be the N word, the F word, the C word, whatever it is. You just didn't even realize, I remember, honestly, having a little old lady singing to the walls. I'm going, what are you singing? She's like, to the walls, to the walls. I'm like, do you know what you're saying? It's like, the window, to the walls. And she didn't understand what that meant, to the window, to the walls. I'm like, listen to the words of that song, the window, like, oh, good God. You just don't hear it. You think you hear the music, but you don't hear the words itself,
Yeah.
So, and then we get wrapped up in just singing the song, and you're like going, "Oh my goodness, this isn't right." But that's the
Well,
way they.
I've heard kids around here say, "Well, my friend's black and he says the N word," and so I say it too. And I'm like, I'm just not. I can't go
No,
there.
yeah, no.
I let him say it, but I ain't saying it. In college, I had a black roommate, and I never heard anybody say the word. But these were some big guys. That was part of it too.
Well, I've heard it a lot. I was the only white employee up in Seattle
Wow.
at Wendy's, so yeah, it was a pretty prominent. That's just the way of life, though. It depends on where you're at and what you do. I mean,
Yeah,
that
and
was
how you're raised, because I was raised to be just horrified of the word itself. They never say it, and then
yeah. I mean, I
other
wasn't
kids,
horrified by it.
yeah,
I just
other
I
kids.
just nobody's never said it. It just wasn't my.
But
Just wasn't my.
you probably had other kids at school that would say it. I mean, we had a few, not a lot, but
Well, like I said, dude, when I was younger, I was a huge Curtis Blow and all these other guys. So yeah, I will admit, when I was a kid, we used to rap all these songs. We pretty much said word to word what it was, because that was just the song. It wasn't
yeah,
trying to be racist or sexist, even though it's the most sexist songs you can think of. But sexually, what do you call it? I don't know, egotistical, whatever you want to say. But that's just the word. Two Live Crew came out when I was in 8th grade, and it was like,
yeah,
or 7th or 8th grade, I don't know. And every 7, 8-year-old boy was or 8th grader, excuse me, 7th, 8th grader was just repeating those words. It was great. It's fun. It's funny. It's just rhymes that are, very outrageous.
oh
But
yeah,
yeah, we do what we must do. Not must do, but we do what we want to do at that point. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think that we've gone a long way in society, and I'm very glad.
oh yeah,
We're not done by any means. I mean, I think the racism is still a huge problem. People don't realize it, and I mean, when you watch that movie, The Toy, you will see that it's just right from the start the type of I mean, all of his maids were African American maids, and all this people who worked there were like slaves, and that's what Richard Pryor was trying to show everybody, that this is not okay,
Oh yeah.
But but like I said, funniest part was not Van just pulls whatever, it's this Klan watch on the side of it. I was like, trying to explain it to Mary. It was like, oh gosh, we live in different days now. It's just funny. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, so what was one of your favorite movies as a kid? By the
Well,
way, that's Scotty Schwartz. By the way, Scotty Schwartz is the guy off of that.
Oh, the kid?
The kid, yeah. Remember him?
No.
You don't?
No, I'd have to see that again. We went off the air for a minute. I'm not sure what happened there, but that's okay. Just boom, went off, came back.
Not that. Are we?
So
are we
what
good?
was did you say what was my favorite movie as a kid?
Yeah, well, one of your favorite movies as a kid, yeah.
Well, I really liked when I was about 10 years old, True Grit. I got to go see that at the theater. That was the only movie we went to one movie, I believe, when I was growing up, and it was True Grit and some double feature movie. But John Wayne was pretty good, and he won the Oscar on that one.
Oh, John Wayne did?
Yeah, he won the Oscar for True Grit.
Oh,
he probably had better performances, but by that time he was getting pretty old, and so I think that's part of why they gave it to him. But it was a great character, Rooster Cogburn.
Rich Cogburn, yeah, I remember that character. Yeah, he was it was a good show. It was a good movie. I mean, did they redo it or not? They did do True Grit, right?
Yeah, with Jeff Bridges, it wasn't very good. You could barely tell what he was saying. He didn't have the same flair as John Wayne.
I think the who else was in that movie, because it took the shadow off of him as much as it was with the other characters. Was it? Let me think here. Who else was in that movie?
There's some young guy, and I don't know.
Matt. Is it Matt Damon?
Might be, or I don't know. Can't remember. It was not memorable at all.
Can I share this? Can I share this stuff? Any chance?
Let me see the share.
Because all I was going to do is show a picture of that show, which is
let's get us the Jeff Bridges True Grit.
There we go. As the toy, Richard Pryor, Jackie Gleason, and that little guy right there is Schwartz. Schwartz from Christmas Story right there. Yeah, it was.
Oh wow!
But you can rent this off of YouTube for $3.99, as I did last night. But yeah, so, or actually on Prime Video, same price. But I every once in a while you see an old movie, I gotta find that movie and watch it with my kids or whatever, because it was just good, But yeah, that was pretty funny. He was such a torturous little bastard as a child, that kid did, because he was given everything except for love.
Oh yeah, that was kind of the message of the whole thing.
It was. And his dad was a senator, U.S. Bates, and all of his servants called the son Master Bates.
Oh,
Master Bates, it's kind of funny. And then that kid, Jackie Gleason, was like, "Oh my gosh, I get my son this week. Oh man, well, what are we gonna do this week?" He has his son for 1 week a year.
That's it?
Yes, 1 week a year. I am like, are you kidding me? That's insane. You see your kids for 1 week a year.
Yes, that's terrible.
That's terrible. What's I know shit on my mouth. But anyways, the sad part about that is that I was talking to Mary about that, and she has a friend that her mom only sees her 1 week a year.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. I've done a pretty good job as a parent now. I mean, I always think, well,
Well, yeah.
I'm like, well,
how old is the kid?
Amy's, my daughter's friend.
Yeah.
20 now, or no, she's 18 now.
But even growing up, only once a week?
Yeah, growing up 1 week a year, she would see her parent. That is insane. I'm like, what's the point in having a kid if, I understand I wanted to repopulate the world with my own image, but I would not want to do that if I could never see my kids.
Oh yeah, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, that'd be nuts. But that's what he did here. He put the kid in military school, and then 1 week a year he got to go stay with his dad's
Wow.
house. And then in that 1 week, he said, his dad said, "You can have whatever you want. You can buy whatever you want." And it took to like a FOA Schwartz or FOE was it
FAO.
FAO Schwartz, yeah. And it was like, go ahead, whatever you want, it's all yours. And his little minions took him to the store. He didn't take his kids to the store. He had his minions take him to the store and buy whatever he wanted. And that's when he's like, okay, I want that. I want that black man right there. And it's pretty funny, actually. I mean, it's quite hilarious watching Richard Pryor try to get out of this job, but he pays him finally enough money to where he's like, heck yeah. And then, of course, then they actually become friends, and that's what all the kid really wanted was a friend.
Yeah.
He wanted his dad to love him, but he wanted a friend. So what he needed was a friend, I should say, and or he wanted a friend and needed his dad to love him. And eventually it all came out. So it was a cute story, It's like another one that Richard Pryor did was Brewster's Millions. Remember that show?
Oh, I love that one with John
That
Candy.
that was a good one too. I love that one. That was a
Yeah, I think that had the line, "Trust me, I'm a paralegal." I love that line.
Am I still sharing here?
You could.
No, I don't want to. I'm just wondering if I still am.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that line, "Trust me, I'm a paralegal," I think from that movie. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, no, and that is trying to hear how long ago that was, Brewster's Million.
That was what, May 84 or something? I don't know. It was in the 80s.
Yeah, I think they all have to be basically, but that was another great one there. Let's see here.
Yeah, what year is that?
I'm just looking for it right there. I cannot find it. But Brewster's Millions, yeah, it was 1985. You're pretty close.
They had that candidate, absolutely nobody.
Yeah. No, I'm voting for nobody. Yeah. But that was if anybody remembers that movie, by the way, that was well, that's a minute here. Where am I at here?
Yeah, it's like he had to spend $3 million to get 30 million or something like that, or 30
he
million.
had to spend like 10 million in order to get 300 million or something like that.
Something like that.
And he couldn't tell anybody what he was doing his money. He was, wasting the money himself. But he could not just waste it. It was hard. He couldn't waste it, and he couldn't tell anybody what he was doing.
Yeah.
So it was except for the accountant, I think. No, the accountant himself screwed him. So everybody thought that he was just a crazy man blowing all his money within a month. Yeah, that was a good one. That's kind of a Trading Places type of thing.
Yeah, I like that. I like Trading Places a lot. The 48 Hours was one of my favorite 80s movies.
Yeah, 48 Hours. Nick Nolte's great. I know you told on this. Convict.
Yeah, that's good. There was some. They were pretty intense on the race thing with that movie too.
They were, yeah. Okay, Convict.
70s and 80s, they kind of confronted racism and just threw it out there in the movies and the TV.
And the thing is that I know it sucks, but we're here. It's a long time we're going to be here in this world, and we are progressing slowly. Probably too slowly for most. But speaking of change, Brian, oh my goodness. I'm not sure if you've seen the news recently, yesterday and last couple of days, because there's been this huge thing about UFOs.
Oh, yeah, it's really big right now.
Well, the reason why it's really big right now is because within the next month and a half, it comes to fruition where the one thing that I will tell you that the previous president allowed to happen was when the Senate or somebody ever passed that bill, somebody hid in that thing that the government had to come to, they had to let everybody know in the Senate and the Congress what actually is going on with all the information they have on the UFO stuff. And they had 6 months to get it all together. So that's why in the next month and a half, you're going to find out all the information they have about the UFOs, which is crazy. I mean, that's just and it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of stuff out there. It's like we've got new images, new videos, new everything. And I think this actually I can't show the video, but or maybe I can. I'm not sure.
It'll be a good distraction from the pandemic.
Yes, that's it right there. Everything's a pandemic.
Next month, Congress is expecting a report from the Director of National Intelligence and other agencies on UFOs or UAPs. Now, that's the government term for them. It stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena.
I like that.
Well, a retired U.S. Navy pilot came forward to say he and his crew witnessed an unidentified flying object on the coast of the Atlantic several times. And he's not the only one. Joining us now, someone who has personally witnessed sightings, retired Navy Chief Master at Arms, Sean Cahill, joined by Christopher Mellon, former...
I actually don't know if I don't get in trouble for
playing this stuff. Show it all, but that's what's going on now. They've
so
going to start coming out more and more.
But they wrapped that in the bill.
You can get rid of that. There you go.
So they wrapped that in the bill, and what they did was they made it so in order to pass that last economic stimulus package and stuff, for everybody, somebody snuck in that thing that they had to give all the information they could about the UFO stuff. So that was actually a sneaky little ploy that that worked apparently. Hopefully hopefully the world was ready for it, because from what I watched last night, there's a little more learned about last night. There's a little more information coming out there, and they're going to show, hey, there is other life forms out there, and now they're about ready to come out and say, hey, we know kind of how and where they come from, and may have been communicating with them. If they've been communicating to these other worlds, that would be nuts. And you know what that'll be, by the way? There will be no more currency of American or Japanese or Chinese currency. It'll be cryptocurrency, guaranteed.
Why would that happen? Because we saw aliens.
Because that means that eventually we will be transferring from eventually, it'll go to where we're having people living on the moon or on the Mars or wherever we're at.
Yeah.
And we can't just wire them a check. It'll be just hey, you know what? Here's cryptocurrency,
Well, probably be 4 or 5 years of arguing about it anyway. Half the people don't believe anything the government says, and the other half are skeptical. So yeah, it could be a hoax, people will think.
Yeah, well, I don't think
what can we believe, They're not going to show us any of the good videos, so all classified.
It's because they only show us the stuff that is unclassified, and it becomes unclassified every moment until a month and a half from now. So,
but I think some of it will stay classified, because right now the video I saw looked like a guy got a cheap camcorder and showed the asteroid screen really close. That's all it looks like. There's a chip this big. I mean, if that's all
all they're showing us at the moment is all the radar pictures.
Yeah,
you watch radar. You can't watch a radar.
It's so far it's not very impressive. But if they show us actual video, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and then it'll be like, what do you believe? And people are gonna say, well, then they're afraid that the society as a whole might come to collapse because there's no God. Why would there not be a God? Because there's only one. There's another race out there besides us.
Yeah, there's nothing in the Bible that says God couldn't create other stuff. Jeez.
No, well, we know He did, because there's.
I hope so.
There's the whatever you are, and there's me. No, but
I mean, if He created other species, you would hope He would be able to.
But we know He
created was humans. He's not as great as we thought.
But there's Neanderthal, guaranteed it's a totally different race actually than us. We may have actually become part of it, but or became part of us. But Neanderthal is a different type of human or a different type of person from this world. The Nephilim, which supposedly maybe that's the larger people, but there's other kinds that were here before us, and on this world. So it's he did create other people, other creatures, and other beings besides humans.
Yeah.
I mean, the Neanderthal thing is exactly that's one of those. It's a race all by itself,
Yeah. Well, people couldn't handle the pandemic, but we seem to be surviving, so they'll be fine with that. They'll be arguing and stuff, but a lot of people won't believe it, because people say they don't believe the mainstream media, and that's what we're going to be getting a lot of is the mainstream media reporting on it. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Well, that's for certain. I'm excited to hear what things people have to say, because I mean, it's my whole life I've been a huge skeptic and still a fan though of UFO stuff. So I mean, I saw something when I was a kid that I'll never be able to explain. So
yeah. Well, if the aliens want the people to know, they'll just bypass the government, and we'll be able to get the information from them.
Oh, no. I once saw my stepmom naked. That's what
you didn't hear any of that.
I did. What I was saying is that when I said I've seen some things I can't explain, I wasn't referring to UFOs. I was referring to my stepmom naked. It was like, oh
wow,
horrible thing. But no, actually, I have seen what I think was an alien as a child.
Yeah,
not an alien, but a UFO. So
yeah, don't you think the aliens, though, if they really wanted us to know, they would just tell us? The government, we can't trust the government, so let's get it from the creatures themselves. That would be good.
Yes.
Nobody believes the government and trusts them on anything. They just said people don't have to wear masks. Nobody trusts that. More people are wearing masks now. Yeah, this will be fun because they'll be arguing about something other than politics.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. And then it'll be, how do we deal with another life form?
Yeah.
But that's the problem, is that I think that we are afraid, and we have good reason to be afraid of somebody else trying to enslave us. But my guess is that if they want to enslave us, they would have done it long ago.
Yeah.
It would have been that hard to overdo the humans, because our technology was much behind theirs. Yeah. So hey, so I do have questions, by the way, from my little conversation things here. If you have this is from the science of people.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, the science of people. So I'm gonna start right back here. I'll go. Are you working on anything exciting lately?
Well, I've been doing a lot of work on my house and writing a book and trying to get in shape. So those are pretty exciting.
By the way, I want to tell you, I'm proud of you. You put together a pretty good bathroom in your house, in addition.
Working on that, yeah.
I don't mean to say that out loud for the
well,
public.
I got I was at Lowe's yesterday with you, and there's a guy that can help me with hooking up the water to it, because I got the plumbing done for all the drains, but I want to, I wouldn't mind a plumber, so that's cool.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good looking addition you've done over there, so that's cool.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, besides a couple little things, you've done most all of it yourself, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty impressive for an old guy.
Yeah, it's nice. I brought in an electrician. Electrician is important. I don't want to get shocked.
Yeah, well, electricians are, and there's certain things, at least have somebody there to actually make sure that it's all wired up correctly, so you don't blow your brains out on accident, or fry your limb offs,
Yeah.
Or burn the house down. Actually, that's the most important thing right there. You don't want to burn your house down.
Yeah, a lot of homeowners avoid the electrical part, and then they go up and clean their gutters, and that's where they get killed.
Right. Yeah.
Ladders are the most dangerous thing around the house.
Now, you used to be a roof guy. Literally.
Yeah, we had a company called the Roof Guys, and the key thing we talked about was ladder safety, not even safety once you're on the roof. Ladder safety. That's where all the injuries would occur.
Now, do you recommend the covers that you have for the gutters? They're called like gutter
guards and stuff. Yeah, some of them are really good, because we dealt with a lot of clogged gutters, so they can be good.
I
Sometimes you
saw,
still have to clean them if you're in a really in an area that gets a lot of debris. You're going to have to clean them occasionally, but not nearly as much.
yeah, well, I saw before somebody put like a kind of like a tube with holes in it and just kind of shoved it in there.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I mean, what do you recommend? I mean, being a previous roof guy.
Well, I always like the ones that there were screens, but you could lift them up if you had to clean them, because sometimes there would still get debris in there. I like the ones that flipped up. We used to install them for people, and that was kind of cool.
Okay, so it probably is, that was actually a roof. I mean, that was a gutter. I don't know, was there a name for that one?
Well, you go to Lowe's and they were like strips about 4 feet long, and you put them on because you could buy these real expensive ones and have them put on, but they were like built that way. And if something got in there, it was not easy to get out. These flipped up, had little hinges on them, would flip them up because sometimes even with those, you'd have some gutter cleaning. So
You would install those?
yeah, we put those in a lot.
Really? Because I could probably use some. Actually, no, actually, with my trees gone now, I don't have a problem. I did have all these
Well, I'm
trees
not
behind
going
me.
that high up on a roof anymore. I did my time.
Ever again. Yep, I get you. No, that's
I'll go on my roof. It's not that high, and I know it well, but yeah. Had a
mhm,
few close calls. I fell off 2 roofs.
yeah. Has this been a busy time for you during this pandemic?
Yeah, I keep busy all the time because I have things like to organize. Everybody does spring cleaning. There's always something going on.
Well, you mentioned a moment ago that you were working on your house, but how many other things are you working on right now? Because I know um, you've got a couple other irons in the fire, and what might they be?
Well, I have working on the house. That's just all. If you're a homeowner, you're always doing something to your house. And then
Oh, 100%.
working on a book that I want to have come out this fall, late fall.
Can we talk about that book at all?
A little bit. It's called Longview ? It's the fate of the planned city is in peril and it may all just fall apart and be destroyed, and R.A. Long may be killed and all this stuff. It's just intrigue. It's like historical fiction.
Historical fiction, kind of like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Kind of that. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You take some real stuff and change some things and create
Yeah, that's cool.
had to create a super villain that's trying to take down R.A. Long and take over the planned city. And of course, he's a Kelso guy. So it's basically a Kelso gal. She,
The rivalry's still there.
yeah, well, it's like the beginning of the rivalry and talks about why the rivalry occurred and what R.A. Long said and all that. But it's a gal. She's trying to save the city basically by taking down this villain, but she wants to do it legally.
Mm.
The guy,
Well,
the guy in it wants to take him up to the creek where they grew up and have a trial and hang him.
oh, really?
Yeah, that's his goal. That's his dream because they had a thing happen in the war, World War One. They're all childhood friends. It's kind of interesting.
Uh-huh. Well, how long until we can expect this book to come
I'm
out?
thinking I'll have it out. I'm thinking October, November. I wanted to have it out and be promoting it during the Christmas season. So I'm
Sounds
just
like a
going
Christmas
through.
present.
I wrote the story. Now I'm just going through and changing little things, just little tweaks on it, and it's going good. It's a little slower. It's taking longer than I thought, but it's books take time, I guess.
Well, as long as you're having fun. I assume
Yeah.
you're having fun.
Well, the research has been one of the best parts to see what really happened. Life is stranger than fiction. I had things in there that I thought were pretty crazy. Then I read the real history, and it was crazier. So,
Yeah, like
well, I
which was-
have a corrupt guy, and he's got the police in his pocket, which really happened. But back in 1923 at the Kelso Parade, the police were driving the car of the bootlegger prostitute leader guy, the biggest criminal in Kelso. They used his car in the parade, so people just knew it was corrupt.
we know that that happens actually. It's kind
Yeah,
of fun.
and there was a guy that wanted to take R.A. Long out, not kill him, but there was a guy trying to have Kelso take over Longview. That really happened.
Okay.
But
Well,
But he didn't do it very well and with no flair.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Longview. Did Mark Morris try to take it over? I don't know.
Nah, that was a Kelso guy or something. He came from somewhere else and moved to Kelso and was trying to angle to have Kelso basically take Longview, and be in charge and have it just all be Kelso and stuff like that. So,
Well, this is Tuesday, and of course, we have a few more days until our show on Friday. But
yeah.
what is your favorite thing to do on the weekends, Brian?
It varies. I just kind of like to see what's happening. I do like to watch. I used to like to watch fights. I'm kind of losing a little interest, but
Tell us why you're losing some interest in fights.
well, part of it was just like when the guy broke his leg, and then it was more than
By
that.
the way, who was it that broke his leg?
It was Chris Weidman. He kicked a guy, and his leg broke, and then he stepped on the leg that was broken. But it wasn't so much just
didn't work so well.
Yeah, it wasn't just that. It was like it's become a lot of just gossip, and then too much gossipy trash talk. And after a while, I got bored with it. And then Jake Paul showed up and got me interested in this bizarre celebrity boxing. So,
well, I think the breaking the leg and then stepping on it is very sickly and twisted. It's disgusting. I've watched that before happen, and it's probably the third time I've seen it happen in the UFC or one of those things. But
yeah,
you know what? That's going to happen. You have a bone on bone type of connection, and
yeah. But as a fan, it's like after a while that happens, and then they start sounding like a bunch of whiny little bitches. This guy said this about this guy, and you're like, man, this sounds like office politics. Where Jake Paul is creating interest in entertainment, and so I'm like, the UFC is okay. I'll dabble in it still, but it's not. I'm not as into it because I like the other funny things. I like the Jake Paul thing is hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know Jake Paul and his brother. I'm not huge fans of it, but that's no big deal. I just huge
they
fan
just
of them.
went for it. People
Yeah,
complain about them a lot, but they did it.
They went for it all the way, and they've done really well. They make a lot of money, and they're doing good.
They've worked hard. That's what people don't realize. The stuff they've done is not easy, and they have been very aggressive and they're clever. And their dad supported them. He's kind of an interesting guy too. I saw him on their podcast, Logan Paul's podcast, with his dad and his brother, and it was pretty good. They're just a real tight family that believes in themselves.
Yeah, no, that's great. They've done extremely well. Shoot, they're one of the number one podcasts or shows on the internet right now. I do believe that. I don't know if they have one show, two shows, 5 shows, or 10.
Well, Logan has a show, and then Jake is doing his promotions. But he had as many pay-per-view buys as any of the UFC. He had like 1.5 million people paid to watch him fight that Ben Askren, and it was just Nathan, entertainment. The music.
Didn't he fight Nathan somebody too?
What's that?
Didn't he fight Nathan something?
Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson, yeah.
But
I felt bad for him.
Yeah, I felt bad for Nate. The show though, with all the Snoop Dogg and all that, and all the music over and over, the show is terrible. But the fight, the Jake Paul part of it that he promoted was good. But they're talking about changing that up and not having so much music in there. It's too much.
Yeah, they get to do whatever they want, I guess, and they're the champion.
Well, yeah, but they know that people don't like it, so they're thinking about toning that down because people want the celebrity boxing. That's what they want.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It's I don't know, but then again, like you said, you didn't like the leg break, but then again, we saw another fight here just last week, and the guy has orbital socket broke.
Yeah, I was boxing.
Oh, that's disgusting. It was right
there. That was boxing.
The guy just he took a couple punches to the face, and you saw it connect, and that whole bone around his eyes is broken.
Yeah, and it was a great fight up to that moment. It might have ended Billy Joe Saunders' career. I actually liked seeing boxing again. That was cool. But
yeah, that was I don't recall seeing a hit like that in a long time.
Yeah,
it didn't look like it hit that hard, but then when you see it actually kind of like the connection where you can see where it broke, that's just like, wow. And it didn't, I'm just saying, he didn't look like he was that big of a dude to hit that, but he was working on that for a while, you know.
Yeah, he kind of set that shot up. But yeah, that was fun to watch real boxing. But the UFC, really, if you watch it, it is a lot of gossipy stuff. It sounds like, stuff you'd see at an office. He did this, he said this, and I'm going to get him for this, and don't insult my wife. And it's like, after a while, it's like, it's not that interesting anymore. So, and the fights haven't been as great as far as the matchup. So, and then the Jake Paul thing has kind of screwed him up a little bit over at the UFC, and he's getting angry about it. Dana White, the guy that's putting it on. So they're having a little trouble right now, I think. And after a while, I just have lost interest in it a little bit.
Yeah, well, I understand that 100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, we got into the Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin stuff, and I love looking at the old footage and finding great entertainment.
Yeah, they're great.
You got any more questions?
Oh, of course I do. I'll have 1,000 questions, 1,000,000 questions, actually. I have 1,000,000,000 questions. Let me look here. But when you were growing up, what was your dream job? Is there any part of that still true?
To have a TV show, basically. So it kind of is true. I just don't have an audience, but that's okay. I just wanted to be on. I wanted to be on TV, and part of it was sad because I would think my family's okay, but these other families on TV, that's the perfect family. You're a kid, you buy into that.
I didn't. Well, kind of. I mean, I watched Silver Spoons and Different Strokes, and I also thought Silver Spoons was like the toy, literally.
Yeah.
And and Ricky Schroeder. For some odd reason, I looked like the Ricky Schroeder at one time. So,
well, you had a lot of kids in your neighborhood you could play with, right? Well, so I didn't have that. So a lot of times I was alone, so I'd go in and watch these shows, and then I'd even go out and act out stuff, and then I watched a lot of baseball, and then I go out and play baseball. But there's no kids really in my area right then, so I would have to do stuff alone. So you have to use your imagination.
Yeah, there was a lot. Well, I had to use my imagination, I'm sure, sometimes.
Yeah, but you have to get really imaginative if nobody's around.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I had people around pretty much all the time, but
yeah,
there were many times when the kids would have to do their homework and I didn't. So
yeah.
I should have, but I didn't. And I was lonely. And then also there were times in my life when the kids in the neighborhood didn't want to hang out with me. So usually after fighting with some other kid or beating him up or whatever, they're like, why would, I was a jerk. I'm like, I'm not a jerk, but
I was around.
I was a little rough.
Yeah, at school I was around kids a lot, but at home I'd be alone a lot, which I like. So you get into your imagination, and then I had the woods, so I had a set, man. It's like having Universal Studios, my backyard.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. We did a 7th grade play. We shot a film it was kind of a local deliverance, and it didn't go over well at Huntington. That's funny.
I'm sure. But
the biology teacher said that pigs don't even squeal like that. So it was, I got to see.
Ned Beatty, by the way, is in The Toy.
Oh, he is?
He is Jackie Gleason's #1 assistant. And
wow.
There's one point where you see Richard Pryor, they're fishing and they come across him and he's drunk in the backyard fishing because he's had to fire somebody on behalf of Jackie Gleason, saying the guy's hands are sweaty. Fire him. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a thing about Ned Beatty and Burt Reynolds. They were talking. They went on a tour years later. It was an anniversary of Deliverance, so they're going down on a canoe or whatever, and they go. The guide goes, and now coming up, Sodomy Cove, and that was the name of it. And Ned Beatty's like, Sodomy Cove.
They actually call it that. That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But hey, so okay, speaking of old movies and stuff, if you had any character in a book, movie, or TV show who is most similar to you, who would you choose and why?
Well, I'm going with the movie Night Shift with Michael Keaton.
Hey,
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. When that movie came out, everybody I saw everywhere, I go to a bar everywhere and talk to people, and they go, "Wow, man, you're like the guy on Night Shift. That guy on Night Shift." Because I had wild ideas and had a tape
Yep.
recorder and all that. And it was like,
let's take the word prostitute and cut down pros.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, him doing that.
The wild ideas.
Visual
Yeah.
aids, and he was just so excited about really weird things, you know. So that, yeah, totally. People said that all the time.
See, I would say
You have one?
no. I'm trying to pick one for you in particular. I think, and I totally get that. I was gonna say this is not well, it is a character and it's not a character because it's him. But I would give you the Rod Sterling vibe because you like to think outside the box a little
Yeah.
bit and creative, and like to make shows and whatnot. You know, that's the Rod Sterling thought, and you like to write a little bit, so that's a
Yeah.
Rod. You know, it's very. So I might give you the Rod Sterling. You know, if that's not offensive.
No, I would say he's my entertainment idol. Him and Jerry Lewis. Jerry for the comedy, but Rod Sterling, geez, for the writing.
Yeah. As
Just
far as a character in a book or movie that I think about me, um, I would have to. I say a character, not just a person, but a character. Not not a person, but a character.
you got a
Any character.
Gatsby thing going. You kind of love to celebrate.
Oh, I love celebrate, but
You do the wine glass.
oh yeah, celebrate in one glass. Yeah, but
You're not as tragic, I don't think, as well as Gatsby, but you've had you might be more.
thanks.
No,
You
you've
know.
had. I mean, Gatsby didn't have that kind of tragedy until the very end, where he got killed. But
Yeah, that's funny.
well, Indiana Jones, you like adventure.
Well, I don't like that kind of adventure. No way. I mean, I would love to, but that's not me.
Well, not now, but maybe when you were younger, you wanted to do.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
but I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody who would. I mean, the Gatsby thing is kind of cool because I do like to, you know, except for he was freaking Richard and all get out. So you know,
About like the Wolf of Wall Street, or
yeah, but I don't. That's just horrible because I know we can go with Hugh Hefner. We can go with whatever you want. That's not what I want. That's not what I would.
I'd like to be the guy from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that Brad Pitt, Cliff, that character.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. No, but for me, who is most similar? Most
George
similar.
Bailey. George Bailey.
Yes, there you go. I like
George
George Bailey. I guess maybe that'd be a good one.
Where you're always trying to help people, and then yeah, and if you weren't there, a lot of things wouldn't have been good. So you have that impact. So yeah, you got the George Bailey.
Well, that's nice, and I think I'll take that one. I think it's kind of it's how I feel most of the time. So yeah, I think it's probably the George Bailey. You know, oh, zoo pedals. Where are my zoo pedals?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. No,
And
I'm not that nice.
When he
for
hugs
that.
that daughter and he's crying, that's powerful stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie, and that's a lot like me, but I'm more of like Scrooge, I think, with a. I don't know. Actually, that's not true. I'm way nicer than him, but my comedy, I think, is personally more like Bill Murray in Scrooge than anything else. It's kind of like just I don't know the way I think on stuff, but you know, I think I'll take the George Bailey and go with it from there. That's pretty good.
What did his girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend or whatever, call him in Scrooge?
Lumpy.
Yeah, and that was the girl from Starman. You pointed that out, so that was cool.
Starman and
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, yeah.
So she had a brief, powerful run. I think she was Karen Allen. I really liked her in Starman. That was intense. She's into knitting now and actually has a business and stuff. It's interesting.
Oh yeah, you said that before. So she I went to buy something from her.
Yeah, I would like.
She has an online store.
Yeah, I believe so, and I think she might do classes. She's probably, I think, 70. I think it's cool. She has another career, and she's very artistic. Be nice to get her to our local knitting shop. That'd be amazing.
Brian, what is your biggest regret?
A lot of them, but one of them that I didn't actively try harder to get on football teams. I was a little guy, and they'd always say, "Oh, we don't have a uniform for you. You're too small." I even did that in college. I should have pushed it harder because I knew guys that did and got things by just refusing to accept no.
Yeah, I used to get that. Well, you're a small guy, so I'd put a potato in my pants and be fine.
Yeah.
I'd get the call anyway. I'm just kidding, folks. But that's
Some guys were told no, they couldn't play, and they would sneak in. They would, they would get into the locker room, get the pads.
well, that's
they
what
would
you
trick
did.
anybody.
Somebody else did that to you, and you.
Yeah, I ended up managing. I was the manager at Central University, Central Washington University. I'm eating lunch with a guy going, "Wow, you're no bigger than me. How'd you get on the team?" And he goes, "You gave me the pads," because I was the manager, and he wasn't signed in, and he tricked me. And I said, "Dang, that's how you do it."
You just gotta make it happen. Make it happen.
Yeah, I was
You gotta be
impressed.
bold.
Well, this guy's brother was a pro football quarterback, but he was undersized and couldn't get on a team. Central wouldn't have him, and then he found me. So I was his ticket to the team.
What is my biggest regret?
You still have time to get more regrets.
Oh, but you up to date. To date,
Yeah.
what's your biggest regret? I don't know. I've had things turn this way and that way, and I have absolutely loved my life. The people that are in it because of the way they are, But there's been twists of fates here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
Currently,
that time you shot the sheriff, you should have also shot the deputy because he's the one that got you in trouble.
well, I would have said for myself.
It was a terrible joke. What?
It was. That's okay. but no, I would have said
that's my biggest regret now.
I would have said probably my biggest regret as my life would have been. Well, the problem is there's so much negativity in certain things. I would have said just in my life, a biggest regret would have been to me have kissed a girl that I should have back in college or high school, whatever, that one girl that I should have kissed.
Oh, wow.
Because that would have set my life differently. But I can't regret that because I love my kids and the way things happened.
Yeah.
Now, I will say right now, because I just lost a friend through suicide here recently. So I'll say, you gotta say I didn't take advantage of the opportunity of that person to have possibly have stopped that. You know what I mean?
Well, I gotta stop you right there because I think you did everything and you went beyond what almost anybody I know did for anybody. So I don't believe it was you. You did everything, man. You did everything. I remember thinking before that, wow, this guy is dedicated to this friend. I wish I could do that, but you were doing it so well. It was amazing. So there was nothing else you could have done. So you can't have that regret. You wore that one weird tie that time at the Eagles. I'd regret that.
Yeah, no, I think in particular, I don't regret. I guess I don't know. I just wish I would have.
Yeah, you wish you could have done more, but
done something differently,
Yeah,
not more particularly.
We always want that magic bullet thing, like if
that magic bullet. Yeah, I wish I would have known a little more about this information to, keep my dad or my grandpa going or somebody going or my mom. I wish I could have, would have,
Yeah.
But wish could have, would have is not regretting something that you could, you had no control over.
You don't want to change it because then you don't end up with the kids you got and your life.
Right. Yeah. Your life would have been different. Yeah.
You're having discussions with Mary. She's home from college, and that's something you wouldn't have if you had done this.
Oh, no way. No, I would never regret. I would never turn that around. Change that. I
I
love
think
my
if I
kills.
had played on the football team, though, I don't know if it would have changed much. I wasn't going pro.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But it would have altered something slightly. So that's what you got. My biggest regret now, though, is we're out of time.
Have we even started? Are we recording?
Oh, we've
Ha,
been
ha,
recording
wow.
for an hour.
Didn't realize it, folks. It's 8:05, so we let you go. But we'll see you tomorrow on another episode of the LB Pound It Out Hour. So we're
Yeah,
gonna pound it out now with the Rochambeau. You ready for this?
Well, so far, no women that you've talked to or I've talked to like the name. So we got to figure that out.
I don't care. It's pound hour is good. Listen, by the way,
I think you're up 5 games in a row. Or
yeah, 5-1. So ready?
boom,
1,
boom, boom. Dang it, you are on.
6-1, 6-1.
See you tomorrow to see if the streak continues.
Peace out, Girl Scout.